Hi friends, welcome to Social Studies with Miss Jen today. Today we're going to continue to talk about community. Let's start by going over our learning intentions. Today we are learning to identify characteristics of life in a suburban community so that we can understand how people live in different communities. We will be successful when we can explain how living in a suburban community impacts daily life and describe features in a suburban community. Before we get started in our lesson, let's review some vocabulary words. Rural communities, areas outside of cities and towns, often known as the countryside. Suburban communities, areas located in a town or city that is mainly made up of neighborhoods, houses, schools, and shops. Urban communities, busy areas located in cities or towns with lots of big buildings where people live and work. Friends, today we're going to read a book called Yard Sale. As you're listening to me read Yard Sale, I want you to look at the illustrations. Do you all remember what illustrations are? That's right, the pictures. I want you to look at the pictures and think about what type of community this book takes place in, or this story takes place in. Also, I want you to think about the message in this book. What is this book trying to tell us? All right, friends, here we go. Yard Sale by Eve Bunting, illustrated by Lauren Castillo. Almost everything we own is spread out in our front yard. It is all for sale. We are moving to a small apartment. So in this picture, I see that there are two houses next to each other, and they have a pretty big yard. Small but nice, my mom told me. She and Dad took me to see it. He showed me the fun bed that came down from the wall. Look, he said, it's right in the living room. It's all nice, I said, but it didn't feel like ours. Today, there are a lot of people walking around our front yard picking up things, asking the price, though Mom and Dad already put prices on them. How much for this? A woman asked, touching the headboard of my bed. $10, my mom says. The woman sniffs. But look, someone has put crown marks on it. I'll give you 5. My mom sighs. All right. I wish I hadn't put the crown marks on there. They were to show how many times I had read Goodnight Moon. My best friend Sarah and her little brother Petey come over from their house next door. They are both still in their PJs. You got a lot of people, Sarah says. That's good. I nod. So look at all these people that came to their yard sale. I bet they were people from their neighborhood. I suddenly see a man loading my bike into the back of his truck. I rush over to him and grab one of the wheels. I'm really angry. You can't take this, I say, pulling on it. It's mine. Oh, the man looks surprised, but he sets the bike on the grass. I'm sorry, I just bought it. Was it not meant to be for sale? My dad runs over to us. Oh, Callie, he puts his hand over mine. We told you, sweetie. We have no place to keep it, and there's no sidewalk outside, just a street with lots of traffic. I look up at him, and I think his eyes are all teary, but probably not. My dad doesn't cry. It's okay, I say, and I let go of the bike. I don't need to take it, the man begins. It's okay, I say again. Then I add, but will you give it back to me when we get our house back? The man smiles. Definitely. I walk back to Sarah. I wish you didn't have to go, she mutters. Why do you, anyway? I shrug. I don't know. It's something to do with money. Sarah picks up Petey's pacifier, which he has dropped, and sticks it back in his mouth before he can scream. I don't get it, she says. I don't exactly either. Sarah stares at me. I could ask my parents if you could stay with us. I give her a hug. She smells like Fruit Loops. My parents would be lonely, I say. Maybe we could give them Petey instead, she offers. No offense, I say, but I'd miss my mom and dad. Is this for sale? A man asks me. He's pointing at a red geranium in a big blue pot. For a minute, I feel important. I think so, I say, but you'd better talk to my dad over there. I point. Dad smiles at the man. It's for sale if you can move it. It's pretty heavy. The man rolls it on its wheels he's bought and heaves it into his truck. Almost everything is gone. Anything that's left, my dad is selling cheap. He and my mom look droopy. My dad is rubbing my mom's back. So look at this picture. I'm seeing more houses, more cars, not a whole lot of traffic, but there's definitely some traffic. Lots of neighbors in the yard. And I'm seeing that the houses all have pretty big yards. Okay. Sarah and Petey have gone back to their own house. I hate people buying our stuff. It's not fair. I think I'll give Sarah my red heart necklace before we leave, and I'll tell her she can come visit. My mom says. A woman comes up to me. Aren't you just the cutest thing? She says, smiling. Are you for sale? A shiver runs through me from my toes to my head. I run to my dad. I'm really bawling. I'm not for sale, am I? You wouldn't sell me, would you? My dad drops the garden chair he's holding. Not for $1,000,000,000,000, he says. Not ever, ever, ever. He wipes my nose. Suddenly, my mom's there, and we are all hugging at once. Dad stands up and calls out, Help yourself to anything that's left, for free. We don't need any of it. The people who are left scurry around. We go inside our almost empty house, and it's okay because we don't really need anything we've sold, and those things wouldn't fit in our new place anyway. But we will fit in our new place, and we are taking us. I think I'll like my new fun bed, I said. Mom smiles. I think you will. All right, friends, so let's take a minute to think about what is the message in this story. Callie and her family are moving, and they are selling their stuff. From the pictures, it looks like they live in a pretty big house. And in the story, I heard her say that they are moving to a small apartment so their things won't fit. So think about what this story is trying to tell us. Yes, this story is teaching us that the things you have are not as important as the people that you have around you. All right, friends, so what type of community does this story take place in? That's right, a suburban community. How did you know that the story took place in a suburban community? So, remember when we were reading the book and I saw some things in the book that told me that this place must take, or this story must take place in a suburban community? I saw houses that lined the street and were next to each other. I saw that the houses had big yards for families to play in and do things like have barbecues in. I saw that they had lots of neighbors. Lots of neighbors came to the yard sale. And I saw traffic. Okay, so a lot of the people had cars, but it wasn't a whole lot of traffic. Like the streets weren't super busy like in an urban community, but they did have a good amount of cars and traffic. So all of those things told me that yard sale must have taken place in a suburban community. Okay. All right, friends, so today we're learning to identify characteristics of life in a suburban community so that we can understand how people live in different communities. We will be successful when we can explain how living in a suburban community impacts daily life and describe features in a suburban community. For today's assignment, I want you to list 3 characteristics of a suburban community. Okay. When you're done, don't forget to click the green check so your teacher can see all of your wonderful work. All right, friends, I will see you next time. Thanks for doing social studies with me today. Bye.